Okay, this is going to be a quick recap of UFC Fight Night, Cannonier versus Borralho. There was people that thought that this wouldn't be a very good card. I always find like UFC Fight Nights and whatnot. I think of them as kind of like movies. You have to wait till it's done to like really judge it if it's good or not. Like I've seen plenty of Fight Nights. What was Mateus Nicolau versus Alex Perez was like one of my favorite fight nights of the year, and there's barely any names on this on it. This had a couple more names. I I think this was an okay movie if I'm going to compare it to movies. It was an okay fight night. Could have been. It had a bit more potential. I thought it could have been a bit more fun. Too many decisions for me, but anyway, let's get on with the fights. Wang Kong knocked out Victoria Leonardo. Not a big surprise. I picked her to win. I picked her to win by submission, but like I would like the inside of the distance, all that. It was not worth a bet or anything like that. Anyway, the pretty impressive knockout, but I don't know. Victoria Leonardo is not shouldn't really be in the UFC in my opinion. So up the talent of the next opponent. We'll see how she does in the UFC. But good win. Josiane Nunes versus Jacqueline Cavalcanti. I picked this wrong. I picked Josiane Nunes to win. She did kind of what I thought she was going to do. She kept coming forward, just winging it. I thought it would be more effective, but Cavalcanti clearly was the more technical and more crisp striker. And I don't know what the fuck that 30-27 score card for Nunes was. It's fucked up. Was it the same one that gave it to Tai Tuivasa last week? Anyway, the fight was okay for a women's fight. It Cavalcanti and Nunes landed some good shots, but definitely Cavalcanti was the more busier fighter and deserved a 30-27, in my opinion. Unanimous decision. I don't think any round should have been given to Nunes. And Nunes did not do a damn thing trying to like improve during the fight, just kind of did the whole, like the same thing the whole time. So yeah, I regret picking her. Vyacheslav Borshev versus James Lontop. Fuck, that was a pretty fun fight to be honest. And like honestly, I forgot how top tier Slavaklaus's kickboxing was. Oh my god, man! Like I don't know what he's doing in MMA. He's just like do kickboxing full time because like when he fights like grapplers and stuff, they have his way with him on the ground. They take him down and whatnot. Honestly, I thought like maybe he was susceptible to get knocked out in this fight because Chase Hooper dropped him, and I don't think that punch that like Chase Hooper landed was super didn't have a lot of oomph on it. He ate so many more shots in this fight that looked a lot harder than what Chase landed. Um, it was a clear win for Borshev, in my opinion. I'm surprised one judge went the other way for it. At best, James Lontop had the third round, but I don't think so. Like to be honest, Slava looked like he won the fight fair and square. Fuck, they should just set him up with strikers. To be honest, it's much more fun than because Slava gets like taken down by like a gust of wind practically. Like from what I've seen, at least. A great win for Slava, and I'm happy he got the win. Okay, Zach Reese versus Jose Medina. I told you guys either by KO, but it could be his first time decision. So yeah, like obviously Jose Medina is like super durable. He is not UFC level. That is for fucking sure. And pointing at the ground, thinking you're Max fucking Holloway and absolutely doing fucking nothing. What did he land like 12 14 strikes during the fight. He landed like two okay ones. It looked like it hurt Zach Reese like a little bit, but anyway, it was not enough clearly. And Zach Reese definitely like he put it all on in the first round. And once it got past the first round, he showed a more measured approach, which what I was happy to see. That's what you kind of have to do. Like sometimes you can't just finish guys. Like, it doesn't happen, especially a guy like Jose Medina is super durable. Credit to him. Like chin is granite for sure, but it's he's not for the UFC. Anyway, it was a okay fight. Yeah. Okay, Francis Marshall versus Dennis Bazookia. Francis Marshall came in on what, like 4 days notice or something like that, and he dropped Dennis Bazooka. He won 2 rounds to 1, in my opinion. Dennis Bazooka came back a little bit in the third round. It was a very scrappy fight. It was fun to watch. Clear win for Francis Marshall, and it's pretty badass to do that on only a couple days' notice. I imagine if he had a full training camp against Dennis Bazooka, he probably would have got the finish. Overall, it was a good fight. I don't have much to say about it. Okay, Edmund Shabazian versus Gerald Mearshart. Edmund should never be that big of a favorite again. The first round was relatively competitive. It was a 10-9 Shabazian for sure. Second round starts. Edmund drops GM3 and just nonstop strikes him, ground and pounds him, and GM3 latches up the submission. Um, Good win for GM3. I think him calling out Paul Craig, that is definitely the fight to make. I'd like to see that. And yeah, it was a fun fight. I don't know many people that picked Gerald Mearshart to win this. He has a loss to Jay Ellis way back in the day, so yeah. And Myron Santos is the Ultimate Fighter. Congratulations to him. Um, he looked so much better in this fight than I thought he did on the Ultimate Fighter. I was not too impressed with him on the Ultimate Fighter. I actually thought Khan might win this one. He was a bit more impressive, like neutralizing Nathan Fletcher and finishing Rudy Roots. It was very impressive. And Myron Santos, yeah, the first round, it kind of went like Myron Santos would land some nice leg kicks, and Khan occasionally tried to go in and throw in some like hooks, kind of swarm in with them. And it was clear that Myron Santos was winning the round, picking Khan apart a little bit in the first round. And the second round was more of the same. And oof, that was actually a beautiful finishes. He dropped Khan onto the ground and was just landing while his limp body was kind of on his knees. It was kind of cool to see. Nice finish. Can't wait to see more from this guy in the UFC. And Ryan Loder is the Ultimate Fighter. He was super boring on the Ultimate Fighter. That last fight of his with I forgot the guy's name, who was like 23 years old, was super boring. He's got good wrestling, and like he utilized that in this fight. The first round, there was like a submission attempt by Robert Valentin that we couldn't tell if it was in or not because like the camera angle, he was just on top of him, kind of covering his head, so you couldn't really see too well. We I wasn't sure if it was in or not, and then Ryan Loder got on top and just ground and pounded Rob Valentine for the rest of the round. And then the second round starts. Bit more the same thing than Ryan Loder, ground and pounds, Rob Valentine, and wins. I would have much rather Rob Valentine win, but maybe he's not that level. He was super fun, sort of like a Yuri 2.0, good finishes and whatnot. It is what it is. I'm happy that at least one of Valentina Shevchenko's fighters won the Ultimate Fighter, and one of Alexa Grasso's fighters won the Ultimate Fighter, which is pretty cool. I actually preferred this season over last season, Michael Chandler versus Conor McGregor. I thought the whole dynamic was really boring last season with veterans versus prospects, and most of the time the veterans just smoked the prospects, which was no surprise. The guys that had UFC experience are smoking the guys that don't. You know, once you get up that level, you learn more in the UFC. That top UFC is the top level. But I like this season. It was much more fun. I liked all the characters a bit better. Like Rob Valentine was my favorite on it. He was like smoking everybody, and he was. They even brought him on to coach with Grasso. And yeah, I'm really excited for Valentina Shevchenko versus Alexa Grasso 3. Okay, and Angela Hill versus Tabitha Ricci. This looked kind of like Tabitha Ricci's last fight with Tisha Pennington, where she would try and clinch like the whole time, but this time it looked a lot more effective. She was much more aggressive in the clinch, landing a lot of strikes on Angela Hill. It was more of a clear win than last time for Tabitha Ricci. Angela Hill, like she's has like good striking, but it wasn't enough to like counteract like the clinches and whatnot. And when she tried to go for takedowns of her own, it was not working. Um, a good win for Tabitha Ricci. Let's see how she does in her next fight. Okay, Jared Cannonier versus Caio Borralho. Jared Cannonier really had to fight to get to the position he is in today. He didn't have many easy matchups on the way up. He's beaten a lot of good guys, and this fight, I think it showed like the wars like that Jared Cannonier's been through. He's getting up there in age, and like his chin is not all there anymore. He was hurt a few times in this fight. There was actually a point in this fight where they could have stopped it, I thought, where he like it looked like he went unconscious for a second in like I think it was the fourth or fifth round. Cannonier had one good round, but he could have like put his strikes together a bit more, been a little bit more active because he was hurting Kaio too. Kaio actually had a pretty nasty cut like in this fight underneath his eye. Well, it was a fun fight to watch. A good win for Kaio. If I I think he's ready to face that top level now. He's on quite a tear in like the UFC, and yeah, good win for Kaio. That's it. So overall, this was an okay card. We had a couple good finishes, a ton of decisions on the card. Felt kind of long. Um, Nothing too crazy except Myron Santos knockout over Khan was pretty good, and Wang Kong that was a nice knockout over Victoria Leonardo. You don't see it too often. Women like straight up knocking out other women, so that was cool. I look more forward to the next card, Brady versus Gilbert Burns. That should be fun. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I just tried to do a quick recap of the event. Hope you enjoyed.